You may have seen one of our recent videos where we just redid this shop. We framed it, insulated it, electrified it, sided it. Now it's time to do some work in here. I have a few projects coming up. In order to do one of those projects, I'm not gonna say because it's gonna be in the next video, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. But one of those projects, I need to cut something out with the plasma table. As you can see, the plasma table is completely full of junk. So I have a bunch of ideas for the plasma table. I have an idea for a screen to go up here. I have an idea for the plasma cutter itself to be stored under the table. I have some ideas. So let's get started with that by cleaning up. I plan on putting all of my power tools in that. I like having all of my tools very easily, readily accessible. All right. Time to start loading this with all the tools. All right, well, I got this shelf pretty well loaded up with most of my power tools, at least the power tools that I use semi-regularly. So what I did is I put them in order of what I use most often to what I use least often. Obviously, I use my drills and impact the most, so I have those right there readily available. I had to move the shelf up a little bit to get my drills underneath there. I don't really like how uneven it is, but I think it looks really cool with all the yellow Dewalt in there. Not sponsored by Dewalt yet, but it looks really good right there. I have a nice little hole here. I don't know what to put in there. I don't have anything else small Dewalt to go there, but I'll figure something out. Okay, so when I was putting those away, I had maybe a clever idea. It might be a bad idea. It might end up being kind of a pain in the butt in the long run, but I'm gonna try it. So I love using magnets to hold all of my tools, the ones that I use on a regular basis. I like being able to grab and go or just put back. One of my biggest problems with storage or putting things away, or like I said earlier, having things easy to get, it's really more so making it easy to clean up. I'm really bad at grabbing a tool and just laying it on the workbench. Then my workbench gets completely full, just like the plasma table was. So I like to be able to easily put things back, hence this. So here's my idea with the magnet. I'm gonna mount it on the shelf in the back so it's clean and hidden. It might be kind of a pain to get one of these tools while all the power tools are in here, but most likely I'll have an impact or a drill already out, so it won't be in the way for me to grab something. If they are in here, most likely I'll be using it with one of these tools. So I'll pull the power tool out, then grab something here. So I'm gonna try to mount this real quick and see if it works. Try this for now, might be a cool feature. And funny enough, I need one of these in order to do this. I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. I hope it works. I hope it's convenient. But if I grab this, I need a Phillips adapter, boom, grab and go. And see, with something out of the way, I got plenty of access room to get in there. I don't know. I kind of like it. I like it being hidden. I like it looking good. All right, so now that I got the plasma table all cleaned up, the next step is I'm gonna figure out where to mount the screen. So this plasma table came with a mount that went right here on the corner and went up, and the screen would have sat right here, kind of at an angle. So I drilled these holes and I mounted it here so it was on the end, kind of out of the way. Now I have a new idea. My idea is I want to get this screen up. So to do that, I'm gonna mount this guy here. And to mount it, I have this TV mount. This thing fully swivels in any direction, and I think it'll work perfect here. Luckily for me, there's a big 6x6 post right here. So I got plenty of strength here. I think it'll work really good. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. So my goal is to have the screen basically eye level. That way I don't have to look up or down at the screen. I can just look straight at it. I also want to make sure it clears this pretty well. I think I'll go right there. Beautiful. All right, next we got to work on the screen. So I don't know if you can really see it here, but there's 4 screws here on the back of the monitor. I keep calling it a screen. I guess really it's a monitor. It's supposed to be a touch screen actually, but for some reason when this got sent to me with the Langmuir CNC plasma table, the touch screen never worked. But continue on this. All right, so on the back of this monitor is this little bracket. It holds the computer itself, and this is what held onto the bracket that held on to the side of the table. I still need to keep this here in order to keep the computer mounted with the monitor. This is the TV mount system that came with this hanger system. This has these 4 holes here that perfectly match with these 4 holes here. I'm just a little concerned that I'm gonna be able to get both of these mounted on this monitor. So I might have to do a little modifications, but let's tear this apart first and we'll go from there. I also need to take these tabs off. All right, so far, that's cool. That fits perfect, great. My problem now, this will not work because if this goes on here, it's gonna cover this hole, which mounts to this. So I need to figure out a different system for the brain. There's a bunch of holes all throughout this mounting bracket that maybe I can match something up. I'm gonna tear this apart now and we'll go from there. Okay, I think I have a solution. It's gonna take some modifications, like I said, but I think it'll work. I got these two mounting holes here that hold the bracket to the monitor. They will also hold this bracket to the monitor. I'm gonna cut this down like this so it gets out of the way of this indentation here, which holds onto the bracket. Then on this bracket, I need to cut this off in order for this to lay flat so everything's out of the way. They should work to where it clears this bracket and all is well. The screws will clear here. This will be out of the way and hidden. I like it. It's what we're gonna do. So let me get the grinder out and start cutting. Can you use a black Sharpie on a black piece? All right. I don't think you can see it there, but I got the little black line there to cut. And then this will be easy. I'm just gonna trim this little indentation off here. Easy peasy. To the vise. Okay, there's that bracket cut, and there's that bracket cut. So that's the first thing that I've cut or done metal-wise in this new shop. Feels good, feels cool. I have a feeling there will be a lot more of that to come. Let's throw these guys on and see if everything works. I gotta ever so slightly trim these little ears off. Honestly, don't know why I didn't do that before. Okay, it looks like everything's gonna work. I assembled that a little bit backwards. I'm gonna put the computer on this bracket first, then throw these brackets on. Okay, well, that turned out pretty awesome. Super easy modification just to get that lined up, and we're ready to rock. Let's see if it'll work on this bracket here. Sweet, absolutely sweet. All right, I gotta throw these screws on. Okay, that is cool. That's exactly what I was going for. That way I can have this monitor anywhere. And if it were actually a touchscreen like it's supposed to be, then I would just be able to boom, 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 take care of it here. So even like it is with my little remote here, I can control everything with the screen right there. That's cool. I'm super excited about that. So next with the screen, I got to figure out how to wire it. Not how to wire it, but how to get the wires to reach here cleanly and out of the way. I think I'll do that off camera, and next I will work on the actual plasma cutter. Well, I got it all mounted up. You know, it's the little things in life. This excites me to no end. Having this mounted up there to me is so cool, so professional looking. It's gonna be so convenient, so easy to work with. I just love it. All right, I got the cords kind of figured out. I don't know, it's not perfect, but it'll work for now. I have one kind of major issue. I need to go order a longer USB cord. Other than that, we're ready to rock. So like I said, I'm gonna do some kind of shelf or something for the plasma cutter so it's attached to the table. But for that, I gotta go to Fusion and design something up. So I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with the design, hopefully with a longer USB cord, and we can maybe cut out a shelf that we mount to the table. See you then. So over the weekend, I started to design something on Fusion, and then I remembered that Langmuir, who I bought this CNC plasma table from, has something called FireShare on their website. It's where people can share things that they've designed, and people like me can download it and use it, or I can share something, yada yada. So there's a guy on there, I forget his name, I will leave his name in the comments below just to give him credit, but he has designed a shield that covers the control board, also a little table that'll house the plasma cutter itself, and a little shield that'll cover that so that any splashing or sparks or anything keeps everything protected. So on here I have the files. I will put them on the computer and start cutting things out. I will note though that I don't have any water in the table because I don't have it perfectly level yet. I'll do that later. So it's gonna be very smoky and kind of nasty in here, but that's all right, let's do it. So I wanna mention real quick, this is the first time I've ran this in about 3 months. If you don't know, we recently moved to this new location. This thing traveled on the back of my trailer for 1,000 miles. I lost a couple screws and a few things, but it's here and I'm super excited to do this. Before we moved, I used this thing like nobody's business. I made signs, I made benches, I made all kinds of things with this machine. I'm not sponsored by Langmuir at all. I don't even have an affiliate link, nothing, but I love this machine. It's awesome. This thing is awesome. Let's get these files loaded in here and start cutting. So I don't know if you can see it very well on the screen, maybe like that. This is a bracket that again was designed by somebody else, but I incorporated my little KSB in there. So let's get everything ready. All right, this is the first run, and like I said, 3+ months. I hope everything works really well on it, but let's go, huh? Well, it didn't work. Not really sure why. All right, I have a feeling I have some of my wires crossed up on the back of the control box, so let me see if I can get those fixed, and I'll get back to you. All right, just as expected, I had the torch height control wires crossed, so all is well. Let's cut this out, and hopefully this works this time. Just as I expected, a super smoky mess. This thing is so much better with water in it. I'll get there eventually though. So I just got this first shelf cut out. I am now going to work on 2 covers, one for the plasma cutter and one for the power module itself. I guess that's what it's called, module. So I have a fan set up back there. I have the big doors open. I'm trying to push as much of the smoke out as I can. But let's get this set up for the shield. All right, well, now that the smoke is cleared out of the shop, I definitely need to work on that. I can get these pieces taken out. So this one is pretty awesome. This one has all kinds of tabs to it. So these fold in on either side. These fold up to match holes that are already on the plasma table. Then this gets self-tappers ran through the top of it, and then this bends out so you can run a self-tapping screw through the side. Then this folds up to hold the plasma cutter itself in place. I don't know if you could see all that, but this is gonna be pretty cool. Man, I really need water in this table. I got one big problem. Because it's been really rainy outside, we have a little golf cart thing that I had to park right in front of my brake. So I'm gonna try to bend these by hand. Shouldn't be a problem, it's not very thick. I think it's 20 gauge or something, so let's try it. Okay, I recently bought this big stripping tool from Harbor Freight. It was on sale. It was like $79, so I had to give it a shot. So this is my first run of it. See how it goes. Okay, for pieces coming off the plasma cutter, that's gonna be a game changer because it takes the slag off super fast, but yet it doesn't like bite into the corners like a grinder would. Let's try this backside where it's significantly worse. Yeah, so like I said, where the backside was a lot worse, it didn't do quite as good on some of the heavier slag. I think maybe with the right wheel, it would do a lot better. I'm gonna get a clamp, hold this in place, and see if I can really kind of dig it a little bit better. Okay, that's cool. I dig it. Still gonna have to get the grinder for these, but I'm gonna look for better wheels for this guy to knock this slag off. But man, the surface, the way the surface looks is killer. All right, that's good enough for being the bottom side and for my personal plasma cutter. If this were something I was doing for a job, it'd be a lot better, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. Now, to see if I can break it, I'm gonna need more room. All right, well, like I said, I didn't want to battle dealing with the brake, so I brought it over here to this little workbench. I brought out a big vise that I have and I just went to town on this thing. I was able to get it to bend pretty clean. I wouldn't say it's perfect by any means, but without using a brake, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I mean, these corners here look pretty good. This piece is sweet. The guy that designed this did a heck of a good job. I'm gonna mount it right here on the side of the table and hope that it's out of my way enough. I think it is. Oh yeah, totally out of the way enough. The shield right there. That way the plasma cutter itself is mounted on that, and when I have this on casters, I can just move it around. Or even if I don't, at least it's stationary, it's up off the ground. I can have good wire management that way. I think that's gonna be really cool. All right, I got the shelf mocked up right here. Everything's lining up good. These two bolts line up perfect. So I'm gonna take those bolts out real quick. I'll run those in and then I'll run in my self-tappers. Then we'll put the plasma cutter on top of it. All right, now that I got this shelf installed, and might I add, this thing is freaking cool. I'm gonna get the plasma cutter set on here, get all the wires figured out, try to get this looking clean. So let's do it. That looks cool. I like it. Super clean, super good. There's so many wires coming out. I wish I could like have those in a loom or something, but that's okay. I just realized this guy is dirty. Don't know if I'm helping with a dirty rag. Much better. All right, so off camera, I got these guys bent up too. This one's gonna go on this side. This one will go on this side. That way these holes will line up, look cool. I think I'll start with this one. Then I'll move to that one. By the way, the magnet system so far is working awesome. Like I said earlier, typically there's a drill out of the way or something, so it's super easy to grab. And I love that it's a clean look inside and kind of out of the way. That's cool. I like that. Keeps that nice and protected. It looks super sweet. Now I'm gonna put this one over here above the actual plasma cutter. And now with that being complete, I can finally move on to making the next project. The next project, like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to. It's something I really need, can use a lot, and I'm looking forward to some of the features I'm coming up with in my head. One of those being things I'm gonna cut off of here to hold something on the next project. So please stick around for that one. Please consider liking, subscribing. We'll see you on the next one.